I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and this is an unboxing and rambling of all the Terraforming Mars new stuff, I guess. This is all the Terraforming Mars stuff from the most recent Kickstarter campaign. I backed anything I think I didn't have, which is anything I think I didn't have. I backed all the stuff I think I didn't have. And we're going to go ahead and go through this as usual. I got my knife. I got my coffee a little off camera over here. A little just over there. A little iced coffee for the morning. But we're going to be diving into all of this. And as usual, this is an unboxing and rambling. I'll be diving into the cards, the game, the boards, talking about whatever I want to talk about, and diving into all of that. And I was like, do I even do an unboxing of this? Because I have a feeling it's going to be showing you the maps and then showing you a bunch of cards, and do I really care enough to show you a bunch of cards, or do you really care enough to show you a bunch of cards? And the answer, well, I don't know you that'll depend on how long you watch this video, but for me, I decided I do care because I like Terraforming Mars enough. Like, there's many games where I'm not going to go through the cards. There's many games, especially when I'm doing an unboxing. If you watch my unboxing and ramblings in general, there's many times where I'm like, do I really care to go through every single card here? And most of the time, the answer is no, because they're cards. Like, how interesting is a singular card? Okay, this is a Axe of Unslaying, and it has 2 attack, and it costs 3, and it also gives you the fact that every time you kill an enemy, you also get to move 1 at the end of the move. And how many versions of that can actually be cool? And I don't know the answer because I never actually go through all of them. They are fun in the game, and the moment of the fighting of the dungeon and the ogres and all those things you're going through, and those individual moments, sure, it's a particularly useful axe, but past that doesn't matter enough. Oh, I left those cards out. I got some stuff over here. I played Primal yesterday. I left the map cards out, which I'll have to go fix. But anyways, the answer is I don't know how cool those things are. But right here, right now, I do think it's cool because Terraforming Mars is a game that I know well enough. Terraforming Mars is a game I play enough. Terraforming Mars is a game that I'm in the middle of right now. I'm in the middle of a game of it on BGA. I'm going to have to move this coffee for a second. Terraforming Mars is a game that I know well enough that, to me, the individual cards can be cool. Now, again, they might not be to you, which will determine how long. I will start with the boards. I'll start with the boards because I think those are probably more interesting overall than me going through every single new card, but we are going to go through every single new card. So, we have over here our first board, which is not the main board. This is the, which board is this? Does it have names on this? This is Hellas. This is Hellas over here. Let's zoom out just a drop. We'll zoom back in later when we're doing the other stuff, but for these we definitely want to have the maps over here. So this is going to be our Terraforming Mars, nice playmat, and I am usually not even a playmat person, but I'm going to make an exception for, well, for this. We have our colonies. These are the colonies, if I'm not mistaken. I don't even know what these are. Distant global event, coming global event, current global event. Is that something I don't know about? We have our, is this the policy for whatever you want to call it? The, I can't remember the name of the expansion, but the expansion that has like voting and all that. So that's that. That's this. Trade fleets, yeah, this is going to be for colonies over here. And this, I don't know what this is. I don't know what the global events are. Is it a part of Prelude? Is that possibly a thing? Or is it an expansion I haven't played yet? What expansion have I not played yet? I have not played Venus Next. It's the only expansion I have not played yet past Prelude 2. So I wonder what these global events are and what I should know about them. We have our milestones down here, so our specific milestones for each thing. So that's always fun. Have I played Hellas? Because it doesn't look overall familiar. I might have. I don't know. I don't even know which new maps are here. That's the thing with Terraforming Mars over here. There are new maps. I don't know which ones there are. You'll start with your 20 TM. You have the 0 general things over here. You have your standard projects over here. So it is covering. One of the downsides of this kind of all-encompassing board is it has every single thing. For better or for worse, it has everything. So when you're playing on this map, you may not care about, the Venus Next track over here, but it still is present. That said, I still think it looks clean enough that I would play with this. So this is your Hellas board. Let's go ahead and wrap it up over here. Anyways, past that, did I have Venus Next as a milestone? It had the Venus rating as a milestone or an award, whatever it is. I never remember the difference between milestones and awards. But anyways, that's map 1, Hellas over here. Let's go ahead and wrap this up and go to the next one. Anyways, Terraforming Mars though. Terraforming Mars is a game. One of the things I've said, one of the reasons I love Terraforming Mars, and I harp, there are certain things in this board game hobby that I harp upon. It's almost like I have opinions, and I'm a human being that has my own unique specific opinions, and some of those opinions are powers and abilities are cool. I do love powers and abilities, and it's always frustrating powers and abilities aren't cool. Drafting is the best mechanic. Drafting is the best mechanic, and when drafting is not tense, it means you messed up your drafting. I'm a firm believer of that. Drafting should have angst in it. When you're passing a hand of cards to your opponent for them to utilize, you should absolutely fan-made big board edition. Okay. Anyways, when you're passing a hand of cards to your opponent, you should have angst and anxiety over what you are handing them. If you don't, you've messed up the drafting. Not necessarily every single card hand that you're drafting should have that, but a good half of the cards you're drafting, like half the time you're drafting your hand to your opponent, you should be thinking, does this matter? What are they going to do with that? And so I love games in which the cards matter. Terraforming Mars is a game in which the cards matter. When I play Terraforming Mars, every single card that I'm trying to think about, whether I can use it, how I can use it, whether I'll pay for it now, whether I'll let you have it, those are all things that matter in the game, and that's why I love this game. It also means that when I go through a bunch of cards as part of an unboxing, I'm more likely to actually care as opposed to being like, oh, another Axe of Unslaying. We need another one of those. We have Tharsis over here. Tharsis, we have our specific board. Oh, this is the basic board? This looks like the basic board. This Tharsis is basic to Terraforming Mars. I recognize this stuff. I've played this 7,000 bajillion times. Actually, I have not played it 7,000 bajillion times, or it would have been in my most played games of all time video, which I just did, which I am surprised Terraforming Mars... Where's my phone? My phone's over there. I do wonder how much I've played Terraforming Mars. Was it not in my top 10 most played games? Which, my top 10 most played games, I think the lowest threshold is around 50, which means I've played Terraforming Mars less than 50 times. That can't be right. That absolutely can't be right. I've played it like solo alone, I've played it like 30 times. Either I haven't been logging. It's possible. It's possible I didn't log most of my solo plays. Because I would say, while I've played Terraforming Mars solo at least 30 times, the majority of them have been on the computer. And I've always been a little inconsistent with how I log app-driven plays or computer-driven plays, especially when it's not against an opponent, like a human opponent. Human opponent I almost always count. When it's not against a human opponent, I am a little less consistent as far as what I've done. So I wonder if that's the issue, because I've played this game a decent amount of time, and I should. If you don't count solo plays, I believe it's possible I haven't played Terraforming Mars 50 times. If you count solo plays, I for sure played this more than 50 times. Anyways, back to this map over here. So again, we have our events. You're going to have the same basic structure of everything. Our individual board, very consistent if you played this. This being on the left side as opposed to the right side is going to throw me off just a tad, but nothing crazy. I can get used to it. We have over here, this is a nice, the way it does this visually, like this visual indicator that you get to pop up in this chart, that's a much nicer than the way it currently is in the game. Again, it's all fun stuff. We have our boards, this is a very basic map. This is the basic map you've seen. This is the least interesting map I could possibly show you because anyone who's played Terraforming Mars has probably seen this map a lot. Anyways, so yeah. Going back to what I was saying, the idea that you look at a card, when you're drafting, when you're playing Terraforming Mars and you're like, ooh, this is a discount on 2 on every card I play, but it costs so much. Like, do I want that now? Can I afford it now? What about the various requirements that I have to put it into play? And what about the fact that this science card is going to draw 2 cards every single turn, but you need to have 7 signs to do that? Like, there are trade-offs here of how you're going to build your board and how you're going to be competitive in the game. Does this have it on the board? This has Tharsis, good. So it has, so I guess it's worth keeping these bags, both to keep these contained, but also, where am I going to put this? Because again, I hate storing playmats. I do. I'm not a fan of storing playmats in general, which is why I literally have boxes. I need a better system. Share with me down below your best system, like your favorite system for storing playmats. And do me a favor, don't share it if you're kind of mad. If you're like, it does the job, I guess, don't share that. I mean, you could if you really want to, but like, I want somebody who's proud of their system. I want somebody who's like, this is what I do. It works for me. It's amazing. I want that because I need a better system for playmats, and something that's hopefully not like $1,000 or something, but I want a better system for playmats because I have like maybe 100 games that have good playmats, and I have the playmats, but I don't do anything with them. I leave them in a closet somewhere because the idea of going through them to find them is a pain. I want a system that you're proud of, that you're like, this is what I do for playmats, and whenever I play the game, I pull up the playmat, and it's right there, and it's right obvious, and it works. It's a system that works despite having a bunch of playmats. I want that system. All right, we have over here, we have, also, thank you, by the way, for sharing it. Is this upside down? No, it's not upside down. It's on the other side. We have Elysium, Hellas and Elysium over here. So Elysium is going to be on this side over here, which does throw me off. I don't know why. Why do you think they did that? Why do you think they switched it? It's just that for the variety of the players, so that a player playing this game is like, ooh, it's on the other side this time. Or is there a compelling reason as to why that is? Because it bothers me. Don't get me wrong, I do appreciate that. Ooh, it's on the other side this time. That is a nice feeling over there, but I don't know why they did it past that. So we have this on this side, the colonies on this side. We have our, again, same, the whatever, again, I can't remember what it's called, the expansion that has this over here, but the voting. And we have all our milestones down here as far as the specific milestones and awards over here. And these are the milestones and the awards. Perfect. Okay, the winner, the contender, all these things. We have a giant section of ocean up here, that back-to-back ocean that Elysium gives you. We have our various, like, our middle line over here, which again gives you the most greenery, and then just the slow spreading outwards from there. But we have Desert Settle over here, which I always liked. Desert Settler rewards you for being in the lower half of the board, which is a fun little adjustment there. It gives you a reason to be somewhere here, which usually you don't see that much past the actual board icons themselves. So having all the water up here, but then being the Desert Settler, that's a cute little thing over there. Anyways, that's basically what we have over here for Elysium. Again, these aren't going to be the most incredible, showings of these maps. I'm just going to go through the map, show you the board, in case you haven't seen it. There are new maps. These are not the new maps. There are new maps we're going to go through shortly. Right now, we started with these. We're going to have 4 new maps: Amazonas Planitia, Vastitas Borealis, Utopia Planitia, and Terra Cimmeria, which I think are all new. I'm trying to think through Terraforming Mars and what I know about Terraforming Mars and whether there's other maps, because there's Hellas Elysium, I know that. There's Terraforming Mars, the original board. I think that's it. I think the other 4 are all going to be new. I believe that's why they divided up into two boxes. The old maps, if you want those, and then these. This, by the way, was like a $200 all-in for just the new stuff. Like, it's just new stuff for Terraforming Mars is like $200 all in. Granted, I also got the Automa, which I don't know if I need the Automa. I got it because it's Terraforming Mars. I have played this game solo. But this is a game that I prefer playing multiplayer. For sure, prefer playing multiplayer. I play it solo because it's still a good game. It's a great game, and I like playing great games. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's been in my top 10 games for a while. It's had the #1 spot for, was it 2 years? It had the #1 spot for at least a year. I think it had the #1 spot for 2 years. I'm not sure. The #1 spot in my top 100 games of all time has always danced around a bit, as it probably should. Although, that depends on who you talk to. Some people are of the opinion these things shouldn't dance around so much. I think it's fine for things to dance around, and I've always been clear with this. My top 100 is not this is the best game ever as objectively as possible. It's no, what is my favorite game now? What is my favorite game based on how I'm currently feeling, based on what I'm currently playing? And it does change based on what I'm currently playing. Castle of Burgundy. Castle of Burgundy is a game that at one point, like 3 years ago, was my #2 game. What is this? We got these tiles over here. What are these for? Why do I have extra tiles in here? Anyways, Castle of Burgundy is a game that at one point was the #2 game of all time, and then I didn't play it, I barely played it the next year, and it dropped to 27. And then after that, I played it again a ton, and went back up to #3. And it's interesting because there's another thing, that's the thing that's interesting. I get flack about this sometimes. I got flack specifically about Gloomhaven when I did this. We have tiles over here for you. But I got flack specifically about Gloomhaven because I played Gloomhaven so much and then it dropped. But other times I play games more and it goes up. It is situational. Every time it is a little different as far as, whoa, this looks like a big map. This looks like a big chunky board. I see why they have those now. So we're going to put this over here. We're going to drag this down a bit, have this spread out, and this is the board we have. So we got our giant map over here, which should be fun to play with. I want to play this. I want to, is there a longer board? 1 second. This goes to 18% and 14%, and there's 11 water. This is a longer board. This is a bigger board. Oh my gosh, a bigger board. Okay. I want to play Terraforming Mars tonight. Do ya? Do ya? I want to play Terraforming Mars tonight. Hey, do ya? Yay. I'm going to play Terraforming Mars tonight. I think I'm going to play Terraforming Mars tonight. This is going to be a night. We're going to play Terraforming Mars tonight. I'm excited. Anyways, these are the various awards you have over here. We have Hoverlord and Vinifile. So that, do I need to play Venus next, or are these always in play? I guess these are always in play on the boards. I haven't been paying enough attention. These might be always in play because there's usually 5. The 6th one might be if you're playing Venus Next. Maybe I'll add it, maybe I won't. Venus Next I've heard isn't the best, but I do like the idea. Also, are these different? Well, this board might be different because this board might be different. I should play Venus Next. I have never done it. I want to do it. I want to play all the Terraforming Mars expansions. I want to play everything Terraforming Mars. I still owe you the viewer, I still owe you a Terraforming Mars review, but I haven't done so yet because, what's it called? I haven't done so yet because I haven't played, well, okay. I never reviewed Terraforming Mars before I got into, well, content creation media. I love Terraforming Mars, I just never reviewed it because a lot of my original favorite games I just never got around to. But now that I've been doing this channel a bit, I've been trying to make sure that every game in my top 100 gets a review, because I think that's fair. If you're in my top 100, you should have a review on the channel somewhere. And I'm down, as of my last year's top 100, I think I had 12 games, something like that I had not given a review to, and some of them are being added slowly. Like El Grande, for example, I'm like, well, maybe I'll wait for the new version, because I'll cover the new version because it's going to be more relevant to what people can buy. So that's one I might be waiting on. But in some cases, what I've been waiting on is, once I am waiting this long anyway, and once they're in my top 100, in many cases I can do 12 by 12 reviews. A 12 by 12 review is my own personal format for... the basic idea of it is, the reason I call it 12 by 12 is because I've also had a 12 by 12 challenge where I play certain games. I play 12 games 12 times. And in that challenge, in that whatever, my 12 by 12 review format means that I have to have played it at least 12 times, but more specifically than that, because that's honestly more of a technicality. This does not go in nicely. We're not going to put it in nicely. We're just going to dump it in the box. More specifically than that, it has to be a game that I've played in as many possible formats as possible. Like, ideally, all formats. That's what I'm going for. Ideally, all formats. But I'm willing to say, like, not every single last configuration has to be played. But I want to play as many possible things as possible before I give it a review. The idea is that most reviews, and most channels are going to be a surface-level look at the game. And that's not a thing on any channel. I mean, I include my channel in that. The reason for that is because most of the time when a game comes out, you have to give thoughts quickly because people want thoughts quickly. People don't want your thoughts 2 years from now, but they want the thoughts now because they're trying to buy the game. And so most reviews are surface level. I've played this game 5 times. I've played this game 10 times. Like, but have you played in every version? Have you played every expansion? Have you played every player count? Have you done every single thing you possibly could do with the game? Now, I'm not crazy. I don't think you have to have played every single expansion at every single player count and have that multiplying factor and with every starting corporation. I don't need to be crazy. But I want to have experienced the game with every single reasonable thing so I can talk about it properly. And so I have that format. And that format is usually a look back, meaning sometimes I'll have a review, but then also 2 years later I'll have a 12 by 12 review. But more often than not, it's hard to do that. More often than not, I just don't get to the 12 by 12. But in the case of these older games I'm getting to, doing a 12 by 12 entirely and skipping the original makes sense, but then I still need to. Like, Castle of Burgundy needs a full 12 by 12 review. I want to do that. Although I think I may have reviewed that game properly, well, not properly, when they were doing the when Awakened Realms was doing the crowdfunding campaign for the special edition. I think I did a review back then because it was time sensitive. But either way, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to all these things. All right, we have Terra Cimmeria over here, the Crater Highland region. So nice little external waters over here, nothing too crazy. We got some stuff going on in the middle. I'll have to read all these. I have no idea what these do over here. Fan-made board by Arno Drift. Version is not for commercial use. I mean, this was just got sold, so I don't know. I don't know what that means, version not for commercial use. This literally was sold to me. I purchased this board from a crowdfunding campaign. I don't know what you mean it's a not for commercial use. Anyways, Terra Cimmeria, the Crater Highland region. Again, we got, I think I said that already. We have our basic stuff over here, nothing too crazy. Electrician, this means the most electric symbols. That's fun. We have Investor, the highest amount of earned money, the highest amount of earned plants. Coastland, the least amount of things next to water. Coast Guard, is it the least? I wonder. Or 4 things next to water. 4 things next to water, is that what Coast Guard is? I wonder. 4 tiles next to water, could be. Architect, 3 cities, we've had that before. Planetologist over here, so you need 5 of these symbols, including Venus next, and the, whatever those are called again, I always forget what they're called, the something tags, the, oh my gosh, the, I don't remember. And then, of course, Earth tags as well. We have Forecaster, which I have no idea what this one is. Zoologist, most cubes on cards, most pets, and, oh, this is most pets and microbes or whatever on cards. Mogul over here, Founder. Again, some of these are pretty intuitive, some of them not so much, but I'm sure there's going to be a reference somewhere that I can look at, I have to imagine. And that's Terra Cimmeria. We got 2 more maps to go in the new stuff. I haven't even gotten to the new cards, and this already is definitely not going to be, I thought for a second this might be my shortest unboxing. That, I believe, the shortest unboxing I've ever done. It is either the Assassin's Creed Apocalypse unboxing that I recently did, or it might be my original unboxing on the channel. My very, very first one of all was for, oh my gosh, Hall of the Mountain King. Hall of the Mountain King from Burnt Island Games, my first unboxing ever. And I have to look at how long that one was, but that might be my shortest unboxing ever. Because I was literally experimenting with everything YouTube. I just started doing YouTube. I was like, what do I like doing? What do I enjoy doing? What do I find adds value? You see, unboxings in general, the reason my unboxings are chaotic, the reason they have always been chaotic and all over the place and talking about whatever I want to talk about. Sure, I'll talk about the things in the map, but then you'll get a different conversation about who knows what. Is because that is the kind of content I would watch. I've always tried making the kind of content that I would appreciate, and I've never been into like just a standard unboxing where you see all the stuff. That's not usually that interesting to me. Like for me, when I watch an unboxing from another channel, or I guess I don't do that as much nowadays, but when I used to watch unboxings, I would usually be like skipping around to a few miniatures here and there. Boom, I've seen the miniature sculpts, looks cool. Now let me go get back to whatever I was doing. Give me 1 second, coffee break. That's refreshing. That's a latte made in a Breville latte thingy with a little bit of iced coffee. The iced coffee cube, if you see a little thing that looks like darker, that's the iced coffee cube. Anyways, I specifically make content that I think I would consume. I appreciate zaniness and just rambling and talking about things. I don't fully appreciate just going through every single card or component or whatever it is. So my unboxings have always been built around that. But my very first unboxing, I'd have to watch it again, honestly. I don't know how bad it was. But I think it was my second unboxing where I started to figure out what I did and didn't like. And that might have been monumental. I vaguely recall that my second unboxing on the channel was monumental, unboxing on the floor, while talking about any number of different things. And that's when I kind of figured out, I was like, you know what? I like the rambling. Like, I got a comment on that video. This is early on in my YouTube career, and I got a comment on the video saying that they kind of buried information in a video that they never would have known to look for it. And I was like, I get that, but I didn't have plans. I just talked, and I like that. I make the content I want to watch. That's what it comes down to. You have to be passionate about what you're doing, or that lack of passion will show through. And so do what excites you. Do what excites you. All right, we have Vastitas Borealis over here. I'm assuming it says not for commercial use down here. Yep, it definitely says not for commercial use. See, I knew to flip it because they like doing that mix and match. I find it fascinating that they've been doing that. I really am curious about that. We have our 14%, not 18%, our 30, not 33, and our 8, not 14, and our 9. Where's our water? Where's the water? Where is the water? No, really, where's the water? Okay, now I'm annoyed. Where is the spot? I'm sure I'm just missing it, but didn't like the boards have a spot for water where you put the water tiles and it had, I mean, I know the big giant board had it. Do the smaller boards not have a spot? Does it start with water on the board? There's no way, right? There's no way this starts with water on the board, is it? I haven't been paying enough attention to the various tiles over here to know if they don't all have water spots. But there was that big giant map that definitely had an 11 water spot. And this one over here, I'm not seeing where the other water spots are unless the water gets stacked in the middle over here, because there's no way that when you go on this it immediately does that. That just seems insane. Going down here, you lose 4 money. Is that what it means? I'm curious about this map. I hope they have things that you can look at and read, but I am curious about this map because I'm not seeing a water spot, and I feel if you're gonna have a spot for 11 water tiles, you should have a spot for 9 water tiles. It just makes sense. But we're gonna go ahead and look at the next map. We have one more map to go through, and then we're gonna start going through cards. Not every single card, mind you, but I am gonna go through like the Prelude cards. Like there's some cards. There's some things to be excited about over here, and this is a game that is exciting. But anyways, go back to my top 100 because I was talking about that at one point. I think Blood Rage may have been my longest standing #1 game. I think it held the spot for 3 years, maybe even 4. I'm not sure. I think 3. I think it was 3 years though. I have another map, yes. But anyways, Blood Rage held the #1 spot for 3 years, I think. Then Terraforming Mars took it for a year or 2. Then Vindication just took it over last year, I believe. Yeah, Vindication took it over last year. Was it not? What was the #1 2 years ago? Was it Terraforming Mars still? I think so. And then this year, I'm not sure. There's usually 2 or 3 candidates at play, just so you know. Like both this year and last year, or I guess last year and the year before, I did my top 100, and I wasn't sure what my #1 game versus my #2 game would be, and both times I switched, like in the process, like I don't know. And if you're like, well, how can you do that? The answer is because I don't know. It's hard to know what your favorite game is. Like, what is your favorite game of all time? A singular favorite. Like, I mean, sometimes you know, some people do know, other times you don't know. For me, I know what the candidates generally are, but the individual best game of all time, that's a commitment. Like, what goes into that decision? What makes a game the best ever? Is it the best singular moments? Is it the best overall experience? Which, fun fact, that's what happened this past year. And I think the past 2 years. The past 2 years, Cthulhu Death May Die almost took the #1 spot. And both years, I pushed it back at the last second. And both years was for the same reason. Cthulhu Death May Die gives me some of the best experiences, but is not consistently the best experiences. My experiences playing Vindication, let's talk about this past year. Vindication is always over here, and Cthulhu Death May Die ranges between here and here. And that's a great range, it's a solid range. But at the end of the day, this is more consistently good, and it won over the game that sometimes is better, but other times is a drop worse. Not bad by any means, but a drop worse. So now, by the way, look at this board over here. I'm just guessing that I'm guessing the water is not typically on the board for some reason, which it feels like with all the stuff you have on the board, a place to stack the water tiles is not the craziest. But I only noticed this because they have the 11 spot on the other map, and then this one they have nothing. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's to remind you that there's 11, so that could be why. So that you as the player remember it's 11, maybe? I don't know. Anyways, we have this board structure. We got energy, which is interesting. You don't usually see that. We have, our little water sections over here, which could be fun over here. Nothing directly touches, so there's no spot that crosses the border there as far as water goes. We have our various things. Suburban. Suburban is going to be in the center. Oh my gosh, the center grid over here, it looks like, or is it the outer edge? It might be the outer edge, the suburbs, the suburbs. It's the outer edge, Alex. It's the outer edge. We have Investor for the most Earth tags, the Botanist, the Green, Incorporator, the most expensive cards. Is that what that means? I wonder. or cards that cost, the most expensive cards that cost greater than 10. Okay, the most cards that cost greater than 10. A Metropolis, I don't know fully what this means, past just having cities. Researcher, 4 science tags. A lot of my most recent games, Terraforming Mars, by the way, have had science tags. Pioneer, which is going to be relevant to colonies over here, which I guess some of these are going to be relevant to certain expansions, which is good for the variability, but that means you have to play with colonies, I guess. So there is that aspect over here. But anyways, that's your last map. That's the last board, which means it's time to go ahead and put this away and start looking at some of the cards, which are basically promo packs, Prelude 2, and Automa. Now, I'm probably going to spend the least time with Automa because the goal of this video is not to learn rules. I'm not here to learn rules. That would be very, very, very boring for you as I sit there and read through rule books. Although sometimes I should read some of those pamphlets that come in boxes because sometimes maybe a boring 2 seconds is not the worst to avoid having issues. But outside of that, I'm not going to read rules over here, or at least not. I might skim rules if I think I can skim something very quickly. I'm looking at you, Prelude 2. But outside of that, I'm just going to show you cards. I'm going to show you a bunch of cards. We're going to zoom the camera in to do that over here. I'm going to put these maps away, and this is going to be a fun night. I want to play the big Terraforming Mars map tonight. That's what I want to do. That's what tonight's going to be tonight. We're going to do that over there. Okay, let's go ahead and put this away. Let's close this down over here. Let's drop these off to the side, and let's go ahead and look at all the stuff that is not the boards, because I do have stuff that is not the boards. Let's see what I got. So first of all, we're going to have this over here, which is just going to be some, let me just open this up over here. There's going to be some tiles, basically, for, I think the new content gives you some new tiles, and this, because of that, let's go ahead and open that. Let's pull this off, and let's see what we got as far as our new tiles. This is going to be, I guess, some new domes. We have some more cities. Oh, this is just nothing crazy. I don't know if there's any real new stuff here. I'm not going to bother to open this. This is, like, I think, for the giant maps, so you have the giant tiles. I think that's what it is. Maybe there's something else in there, too. I don't know, but I'm not going to lose too much sleep over it. These will have to go into, I think you can double stack your, in the big box, you can double stack your forests, which I think I'm going to have to do that to make it all fit. And we have our promo cards, our Prelude 2. We have our Terraforming Mars Awards. Okay, so what is this over here? These 70, I forget what's in these campaigns. Like, this is fun. Okay, so these 70 milestones and awards, let's go ahead and zoom in and drop. We're going to be using the, whoa, that's not the way we want to go. That was, if you got a quick glimpse off to the side over here, that's spectacular, which I've just played a game and have not cleaned up in a day, which is not like me. We have milestones and awards. These 70 milestone awards lets you randomize or customize your grid. So this is also helpful, especially if you're playing with that Venus Next thingy over there, or that colonies, and you're not playing with colonies. Before dealing any cards, choose randomly not 5 milestone awards and 5 award tiles to replace the ones on the board. Some goals benefit from the same strategy. Feel free to change goals until you have a set that all players agree on. This is fun. So basically, you have the ability to mix and match to build your own Terraforming Mars board, which I like that. That takes you out of certain patterns in the game. I think I would always use this. Oh my gosh, I think I would always use this. Do they have text on the back? Do they have text on here? Do we have thingies? Milestones? Okay, they have them. They have them over here. Great, we have all the stuff we need. Beautiful. Okay, so for example, magnet over here is awards. Oh, magnet's on this side over here. Magnet. Most green cards. That seems reasonable enough. Most green cards. Okay, so we have all the things we need over there. That's useful. What's the one that I was having trouble? Estate dealer. That is, this one, no, we needed, it was 4. The one you wanted was not estate dealer. Was it a different one? Coast Guard. Okay, so Coast Guard. And it has to be, how do we know if it's a milestone is going to be square or what's going to be that? So a milestone of Coast Guard is 3 tiles adjacent to ocean. Okay, that works. 3 tiles. I think on the board it was 4. On the board I think it was 4, but I could be wrong. And maybe it's a larger map, and this is built around the smaller maps. That could be a factor too, I don't know. But either way, I like this a lot. This is very fun. I will be using these. Maybe not tonight. Maybe tonight I'm just going to use the big map and call it a day. But I like this. Thar. What's Thar? Okay, Thar is, we got Thar. Having raised temperature 5 times. Mark with your player marker on the temperature track each time you raise temperature until claimed. That makes sense. Cool, cool, cool. Anyways, that's going to be these over here. That's a nice little adjustment or thing, tweak. I put it back in here for now until I figure out how this all stores in my big box, because this is all going in my big box. Well, not the big player boards. That I think is unreasonable. Let's go ahead and look at the Automa very briefly, because this is going to be the least amount of stuff to go through, and then we'll look at all the cards, or at least whatever cards you want to look at. We'll look at whatever cards. Maybe I'll go through some things. You see, again, this thing. Even just looking at the top card over there, I'm like, that's exciting. I want that card. This game makes me do that. Okay, so I'm not going to heavily, I don't want to even open this right now. We have Meteor Shower. You must lose 5 plants. If you lost at least 3 plants or if an effect blocked you, losing any plants destroyed this card. So I don't know what's going on here. I do know that I like, what's the game again? Ares Expedition has the whole crisis mode. And I like the crisis mode. What are these tracks over here? This is stuff, by the way. So these, okay. So we have our Colonies over here, whatever that means over here. We have these, which I guess go in here somehow. Does this open? How does this open? It definitely opens in some way because, there we go. On this side, you're going to put this track in. Does it go that way? I assume it goes in that way. Let's try to do this over here. Oh, they're double-sided too. So there we go. We're going to have some sort of board over here. No idea what this is doing, but in some way, shape, or form, this is present. I'm going to look at the rules for this soon enough, because I actually don't mind playing this. I think a review of the Terraforming Mars Automa is not a bad review. Maybe I'll do that. This separate review for my Trouble Hotel, I'll just review the Automa first, maybe. We have our Venus Next track over here, and we have this over here, Colonies. This is exciting. I am excited to play this. And we have a little divider for the Automa over here, and then we have our cards, which I already saw. And then we have our rules, which let's see how intense are the rules. Setup over here, 3, 5, okay, we got 5, 7, nothing crazy yet. Mars track, 9, 11. This doesn't seem too crazy. Adding corporations, nice, okay. Playing against Mars corporations increases the autonomous difficulty. You might want to consider a lower difficulty until you get acquainted. Okay, that's not the worst. I like that. That's a 2-page thingy. Adding expansions. That I can do slowly. Oh, okay, fine. Okay. An entire solo mode on all the expansions over here. This could be fun. This could be fun. I make no guarantees, but I might try to do a review of every single expansion played solo, because that's easy. Like, I'll play the base game, nothing crazy. I'm not gonna this is the tricky part, and this is where you get into, this is one of the reasons I don't talk about number of plays extensively, and I did. There was a point in time where I talked about, how many plays I got to another game, or at least how many player counts. I've stopped doing that because once you start doing that, you open yourself up to all these conversations of that wasn't good enough, and at a certain point, it's just not helpful. Meaning, right now my goal is usually, again, I said the same thing I usually do. When I review a game, you can assume that I've played it at least 2 times. How many more? That depends. And sometimes I'll mention it briefly if it's relevant or if it comes up. But more often than not, what I usually say is the more negative the review, the less times I've played it. So if a review is pretty negative, I probably played it twice. If I played it once, I call it a first impressions. If I played it twice, I would call it a review. But usually, a game that I liked usually has, I'd say, between 3 to 5 plays, unless it's an expansion, unless it's a campaign or legacy, in which case more. And a game I didn't like will usually be 2 or 3 plays, just because I'm not playing games I don't like as much. But in the expansion, in Automa, the reason I'm talking about this is the Automa review. I'll probably play the base game, then every single thing. But the base game, with the corporations, with each expansion, 1 play of each, it's probably going to be 7 or 8 plays total, which again, you could be well, you should play 2 or 3 times each with each configuration. Maybe, but then you'd never get a review. That's the tricky part. The realistic aspect of reviews is you have to have a realistic number that gives the review out there. And if you have to play every game 10 times before you review it, it's just not going to happen for most people. You will still get reviews, but you will never have a review channel. You'll have a passion-based review only, which is great, by the way. Passion-based reviews can be some of the best ones. But first of all, you won't be getting critical reviews, because who's going to play a game 10 times they didn't like? And if you're that person, you are a masochist, and I salute you. But you also won't have consistent content. You'll have only infrequent content. So there's always trade-offs. I did a video once called, I can't remember what I called it, but something about how board game reviewers are not the typical experience. I can't remember what I called it. But it was a good video, in my opinion, it was a good video, talking about the nature of how reviewers, people who review games consistently, are inherently not going through games the same way gamers are. Well, to a certain extent they are. They're not playing their games enough and they have too many. But it's a different experience when you go through it as a reviewer. It just has to be. And it's unfortunate. It's just the nature of reviews. Alright, Prelude. Preludes with actions effects. Okay, so we have more preludes, required expansions. Most of the cards you'll find expansion marks. These markings indicate which expansions are required to play the card. That's useful. Dex and discard, prelude refund. If you're about to play a prelude card and it turns out you cannot play it, you must reveal and discard to receive 15 ME. Extended start, doing setup, choose from 3 corporations and preludes instead of the normal 2 and 4. 3 corporations and 6 preludes instead of the normal 2 and 4. It sounds like you're choosing from 3 and 6, but you're still choosing 1 and 2. Okay, so instead of choosing from 2 corporations and 4 preludes, but choosing 1 and 2, you're choosing 1 and 2 from 3 and 6. Okay, that's easy enough. Look, done. The expansion rules are done. There we go. We finished the expansion rules for this game. So now we can go ahead and look at the cards. So, this is where I do want to see as many cards as possible. I will go through a bunch of these. I may or may not go through all of them. It depends. I'm actually excited to go through all the cards. I realized in hindsight, I didn't think I would be, but I kind of am now. We have these over here. We have new corporations. We have new things over here. These are probably the promo pack. And I separately have promo packs over here that I'll go through. You know what? Let's go through the separate promo packs first, because it's going to mess with the timestamps. So I'm going to Prelude, promo packs, Prelude. But it is what it is. Alright, let's go ahead and open this whichever way. There we go. Alright, because basically there are a bunch of promo packs that I don't think I have, and if I do, I don't know it. But I bought the promo packs that I didn't think I had. And if I have them, Season 2021 promo pack, I might have some of these. I don't know. Anyways, let's go through these over here. Asteroid rights. We have pay 1 for an asteroid, pay 1 for pay an asteroid to increase your thing, or 2. Okay, I might have this card. This looks familiar. Spend 2 energy to gain 2 plants, or to add an animal to another card. Back to viral research. Okay, draw a card, and then choose one of your played cards, add a microbe to it. Harvest 12 money. Requires you have 3 green in play, gain 12 ME. So just straight up turns around money. We have outdoor sports, 2 income. None of these are particularly exciting. That's okay, that's promo pack 1. Then we have promo pack 2 over here, 16 psych. This one I guess I like over here. Increase titanium by 2, gain 3 titanium, and gain 3 points. We have robot pollinators, gain a plant generation, and then 1 plant per tag. That's cool. Supercapacitors, increase enemy production by 1, but effect, converting energy to heat during production is optional for each energy resource. That is very cool. You can hold on to your energy. That's a cool card. Icy impactors, some more asteroid situations over there, and then directed heat usage, and that's it. Okay. Then over here, Corporate Archives, 13, gain 13 ME. Look at the top 7 cards in the deck, take 2 and discard the other 5. Double down, copy your other Prelude's direct effect. That's intriguing. I like the concept of doubling down. Merger, negative, draw 4 corporation cards, play 1 and discard the other 3, then pay 42 ME. I guess you're getting money on the corporations. That's part of why you're doing it. I like Merger. I like Merger a lot. Draw 4 corporations, play 1. You're getting another ability. I love this. I would always choose this because the idea of having 2 corporations in play is so fun. Raise your ME production 1 step. Immediately draw 2 Prelude cards, play 1 of them, discard the other. I do like this one. This is an interesting one because you're lowering your agency, but you get an income and then you get 2 new choices. It's an interesting choice. Head start, gain 2 steel, gain 2 ME per project card you have in hand, immediately take 2 actions. 2 ME per project card you have in hand is intriguing and gain 2 actions. These are some really interesting ones. I like, this is why I want to go through the Preludes, by the way, because I think they're interesting. Okay, let's go through the Prelude. I might go through everything. We'll see. Prelude, desertification techniques. Those 2 things. Gain 3. Done. We have aqueduct systems over here. We're going to have, what is this? Requires you have a city. Oh, draw 3 cards until you draw 3 building cards. That makes sense. Choose 2 project cards from your event pile. Take them to hand. It may not be cards that play special tiles, so you can get back. Oh my gosh, get back cards. Carbon nanosystems. When you play a science tag, add a graphene resource. When playing a space or city tag, graphics may be used as 4 ME each. That's intriguing. That's very intriguing. We have a corporation over here. Let's put these back. I just am realizing now I should put these back over here. Let's put this like that. Okay. Cooperative over here. 33, a steel. That's going to give you a graphene over here, or an asteroid. Gain 1 asteroid per science tag. When playing for the asteroid or aquifer, each asteroid can be used as an ME. Tycho Magnetics, 42 is the thing. Spend any number of energy to draw that many cards. Keep 1, discard the rest. Siberia Systems over here. Gain production and copy 2 boxes. Increases copy production boxes of 2 of your cards with building tags. I love. There's one that does this with it costs 8. I love the doubling of it. Established methods, 30. Gain 30 ME. Immediately pay and perform 2 standard projects. Okay. Not sure I love that one. Giant Solar Collector. Increase your energy production 2 steps. Raise Venus by 1. Nice. Arithmetic Order of Mars. Oxygen must be 4% or lower. Increase your ME by 2. Gain 1 ME per empty area adjacent to your tiles. That is intriguing. Your hermits, basically. Homeostasis Bureau. When you raise temperature, gain 3 ME. That's great. The game I'm actually playing right now, I'm going full heat. This would be great for that. Kaguya Tech. 2. When you pay, place a city tile regardless of other restrictions. Gain placement bonus as usual. Mars Nomads. Move the nomads to an adjacent non-reserved empty area and gain placement bonuses. Are you moving nomads? Place the nomads a gold cube and non-reserved. You're moving nomads around the board. Intriguing. Martian Lumber Core. When playing a building tag, plants may be used as 3 ME each. That's useful. Oh, that's cool. That's intriguing. Neptunian. When any ocean is placed, you may spend 5 ME to raise your energy production 1 step and add 1 hydroelectric resource here. Gain a point per hydroelectric resource. Gain 1 ME for each city and special tile adjacent to ocean, regardless of owner. Okay, that's cool. So logistics. When you play an Earth tag, pay 2 less. When you play any player plays a space event, draw a card and gain 2 titanium. St. Joseph of Cupertino Mission. Spend 5 ME to place a cathedral cube. Max 1. The city owner may pay 2 ME to draw a card. 1 VP per cathedral in play. So again, some religious over here. Strategic base planning. -3 money. You get a colony and a city tile. Tesseract. Decrease energy production to increase your plant production 1 step. Raise your TR by 1. We got those 2 and that. Nothing too crazy there. Oh, that's where we are. That's back to the beginning. Back to the beginning. back to the start. You were a thief, you stole my heart, and I, a willing victim. Okay, let's go through these. I don't know if I want to go through all of them. Let's go through them. Ecotech, 42, and plant over here. When playing a biotag, including this 2, gain 1 plant. We have Nurgle Enterprises over here, which is 30, and then one of each of these. Awards and milestones always cost 0 for you. That is scary. What's to stop you from just jumping onto the milestones very quickly earlier on in the game? That is scary. That changes the whole game. We have Paladin Shipping over here. You start with 36 ME, gain 5 titanium, and then whenever you play a space event, gain a titanium, spend 2 titanium to raise heat, to raise the temperature. 31, and then that, you start with 31, draw a card that has no tag. Whenever you play a card with no tags, gain 4 ME. When you play a card with exactly 1 tag, you gain 1 ME. Interesting. No allegiance to tags. Fascinating. You start with 50 ME. As your first action, draw 4 cards and discard 3 cards from hand. When you play a card with at least 2 tags, add a science resource, and then standard projects cost 2 less. Science resource here might be used 2 ME. Applied science, 6 science resources here. That's fascinating. Remove 1 science resource to either add 1 resource to any card with resource or gain 1 standard resource. Raise temperature or oxygen or Venus, and then draw 2 cards with float icons. That's from Venus next. Draw a Prelude card, either discard it or pay 12 ME and remove 1 director resource from here to play it. You get 4 directors, and you get to slowly build a bunch of Prelude cards. That's very intriguing. Once per round, you can start adding Prelude cards. I like these. Like, these are clever. Colony Trade Hub. Effect when any colony is placed here, gain 2 ME. When any colony is placed, gain 2 ME. And then those resources. These resources, each time you become party leader, draw a card. That's going to be from, again, that other expansion I keep forgetting. Early customization. Place the colony and gain 3 energy. Add 2 floaters to any card or remove any number of floaters to gain that many of 1 standard resource. I don't know enough about Venus next to know how good that is. Discard 1 card and spend 1 standard resource and draw a card and gain 1 standard resource to draw a card. Okay, so you're swapping resources. That's cute. I like that. High Circles. Effect, you have +1 influence. Raise your TR 1 step. Draw a card with party requirement. Lose 18. Increase all your productions that are lower than 1 to 1. That's very fun. That's very fun. Action, gain 1 asteroid to any card. When gaining an asteroid here, gain 1 titanium. Lose 5 ME, 1 BP per 2 asteroids here. Gain 5 ME, draw 2 cards with requirements. That's okay. I'm not like overly in love with that one. Increase your titanium production 1 step. Place a colony, discard a card. Raise your TR 2 steps. Draw Jovian and Venus card. Skip the first TR you gain in each generation's action phase. Raise your TR 5 steps. I don't know how I feel about that. It's 5 points right now and 5 income, but you have to skip the first TR you gain each phase. That is interesting. Project Eden. Place 1 ocean, 1 city, 1 greenery. Discard 3 cards. Each opponent loses 5 ME and decreases their ME production 1 step. You gain 10 ME. I don't love this. This is a mean card. I don't want it in the game. Rise to power. Increase your, it's just not a fun way to start the game. Like, if you start your Terraforming Mars game with somebody playing this, that's just not a fun way to start the game. Like, things happen in the game, sure, but don't start there. Increase your ME production 3 steps and place 3 delegates. Draw 2 microbes, gain 3 plants, gain 3 titanium. When playing a planet tag, you may pay 2 ME less. Once per action you take, gain 2 mega credits if you increase any productions. I like that. Gain 5 steel. Each step your TR is raised, you gain 2 mega credits. Effect, each step you raise Venus, gain 3 mega credits. Draw a Venus card, raise your TR 1 step. Raise Venus 3 steps. Again, I don't know enough about that. Raise a global parameter without getting any TR with bonuses. Raise your TR 2 steps and draw 1 card. We have over here, Ceres Tech Market. Discard X cards and gain 2 ME for each discarded card. Gain 2 ME per planet per colony you own. Add 1 floater. Increase your ME production. I'm going to go through a few of these more quickly because these are a little less exciting and we're getting to that end over here. Requires 3 Venus tags. Place 2 delegates in 1 party. More floaters over here. Frontier Town. So I guess we've moved past the new colonies and whatnot. The new Prelude. So we have new cards and we have new things over here being added. So I'm going to have to go ahead and incorporate this into my game. The biggest problem I have with Terraforming Mars, I'll just go through these so you can, I guess if you really want to pause on anything, you could. The biggest problem I have with Terraforming Mars is that the base game is one of the best games ever, and the expansions are mostly forgettable except Prelude. So having more Prelude, doubling down on Prelude makes sense for them because requires that your chairman draw 3 Prelude cards and play any one of them. I like that. And then back to Ecotech at the beginning. Yeah, the biggest problem with it is the expansions are not as good as everything else. The base game is amazing, Prelude's amazing, more Prelude's amazing, the Automa we'll see, and the expansions and more maps are great, but the actual expansions, like, they add game time and not always make the game that much better. But I still like the game, and I still play the expansions infrequently, and it's an incredible experience, and that was your unboxing of Terraforming Mars! Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.